Hey guys, welcome to the channel where we question everything, find the truth hidden in plain sight. Make sure you like and subscribe. Can't just listen to me, make sure you do your own research. Let's run it.
If you look at the symbols on the back of the $1 bill, the pyramid on the back of the $1 bill.
This is why my pilgrims are important for the mission.
Bond is a certificate.
Oh my days. Now this is how you can rewrite history with the orphan trains. So the orphan train movement was a supervised welfare program that transported children from crowded eastern cities of the United States to foster homes located largely in the rural areas of the Midwest. The orphan trains operated between 1854 and 1929, relocating about 250,000 children. So let's do the maths. Imagine when these children grow up, they have 2 or 3 children of their own. Let's say 250,000 times 3. You're looking at 750,000 adults that had their names changed and their place of birth changed. How would you know who's who? Or how would you know who you really are? By the looks of it, this was big business. And of course, there was corruption. And what I want to know is, where was all the parents? You see, it's not hard to rewrite history. All you need to do is get rid of all the parents and elders, relocate the children, and you can teach them anything, and they will believe you.
If you actually do research into the orphan trains, it genuinely makes no sense. We're talking hundreds of thousands of kids shipped on trains and little historical books that explain why they had incubators set up all over the place. Like the Chicago Fair is a really good example. It makes no sense. Somebody send me some stuff to make it make sense. You won't.
This document states, on August 9th, 1944, the Central Committee of the Communist Party sitting in Moscow issued a directive ordering the Tartars Provincial Committee to proceed to a scientific revision of the history of Tartaria, to liquidate serious shortcomings and mistakes of a nationalistic character committed by individual writers and historians in dealing with Tartar history. In other words, Tartar history was to be rewritten. Let us be frank, was to be falsified in order to eliminate references to Great Russian aggressions and to hide the facts of the real course of Tartar-Russian relations. And this was no isolated case. In every Muslim area within the USSR, historians, on orders of the Communist Party, have rewritten history to distort the facts so that the Russians appear always in a good light. Needless to say, histories which present the facts truthfully have been withdrawn and destroyed, so that the present and future generations of Muslims are forever denied the chance of learning the true facts of their nation's past.
The amount of stuff hidden in CIA leaked documents and just the FOIA Act, where you can go and research your own stuff, is absolutely insane. Try to tell people all the time, try to show them, and no one wants to listen. Then you pull up stuff like this and they want to call it fake, but then you can go and reference it and find it and really show people like, hey, information exists and no one cares. So that's really what we're trying to change.
Oh my days. When you think you've seen it all, you ain't seen nothing yet. So all this time, we've only been touching the surface. You thought the pyramids was big. But guess what? They're even bigger. Even in the movie Dusk Till Dawn, they tried to show us, but I guess we couldn't see it. The eyes are useless when the mind is blind.
So this one's actually a really good one, because every 6 or 7 months are coming out with some kind of new explanation or understanding that just completely negates everything else that we're taught, that we're told, or that is currently at this time understood. Go do your own research about the pyramids, look at that, and try to make that make sense, because it's, at this point, I would say impossible.
Today, the State Department released its annual report on human trafficking, and the numbers, frankly, are staggering. The report says an estimated 27 million people globally have fallen victim to human trafficking.
Instead of carrying your wallet in your back pocket or your purse, a tech company wants you to keep it under your skin.
All right, so let's explain here. Walletmore is selling microchips implanted in your hand as an alternate payment. Could this be the future? Maybe.
I'm not getting a chip. I don't plan on getting a chip. There ain't a single person I know that's going to go get a chip. I don't care what they're doing. They can make the most awesome VR game that I could possibly think of, and it would require a chip, and I wouldn't do it. Probably wouldn't do it for 10 mil either. I don't want to be controlled. It's not in my blood. It's not in my DNA. I've already been vaccinated, so that's very unfortunate. So, no, not getting chipped.
We are not in 2025. Month comes from the word moon, moonth. The moon has a 28-day moon cycle. 365 divided by 28 is 13. 13 lunar cycles every year, which means our calendar has a missing month, which means we don't know what year we're actually in. This is gonna blow your mind. The sky is a clock. The sun tells the time of the day. The moon tells the day of the month. The stars tell you the month of the year. The sky above our head is intelligent. Everything on earth is matter. Everything above us is spirit. That's why they're floating. They're not rocks you can land on. Gregorian calendar was made for slaves. Calendar comes from calends, the first day of the month the Romans had to pay off their debt. So what does all of this actually mean, and why did they do it? They made this fake calendar to cut off our connection with our celestial intelligence above and keep our mind, body and spirit out of rhythm with these cycles. We must live in harmony with the cycles above us. You can create abundance in your life with using the moon to your advantage. All of my students know this.
The whole calendar one's actually pretty tricky. You could probably spend about 20 to 30 minutes researching your own way of looking at it, right? Like Oct is 8, Nov is 9, Dec is 10. Things have been kind of moved around in favor of certain people in history the way they wanted it. In June and July, as history that we're taught that's actually accessible, were actually added months. So it actually gets worse the deeper down the rabbit hole you get with the whole calendars and time and that whole area. So I put this one in here because you can actually easily research this one and find the holes in the narrative that was put into it. So, like I said, do your own research, but that one's a good one too.
The original electric vehicles of the 1880s, they used mercury for them. So if you think about it, you tell somebody to stay away from things because they compete with the system that's owned by the Rockefellers, which is all about oil, petroleum, and their electrical, system. You look at the pyramids, and they have pools of mercury underneath. You just type in Google.
Oh, they do.
Mercury underneath the pyramids. And then you start to wonder, okay, well, if you had 100,000 gallons of mercury and that begins to spin, because there's always a spin taking place, think of the voltage which would take place. And that's what made me kind of rethink Mercury retrograde, which is when the mercury that is in the earth beginning to spin back the opposite. Because a lot of the mercury is found below us, and if you connect that, you have a different spin. And then when you think about everybody's electronics, remember they always say like, oh, the electronics are all messed up. It's Mercury retrograde. I'm not feeling myself. It's Mercury retrograde. Well, if everything's spinning back the opposite way, and it distorts the realm, and then you'd start to have all these like issues and chaos and whatever.
This is also going to be one of those moments where you do your own research, but what you're going to find is that technology has been suppressed and put on shelves to keep us right where they want us, using what they want us to use and consuming what they want us to consume, to keep money in certain people's pockets, certain families' pockets. And that's one of those rabbit holes. When you start going down it, it just takes you everywhere else. But this one in particular, just to show you that we've had the same technology for a long time. It's been around for a long time, and they give us little breadcrumbs and put it out there when they want us to, how they want us to just consume even more. But like I said, do your own research. This one will probably make you mad.
There's no question about the fact that Mockingbird is real. It started out paying journalists in major media, Pulitzer Prize winning journalists, to print fake stories that the CIA wanted in the press and fake interviews. And this was revealed in the Church Committee.
Do you have any people being paid by the CIA who are contributing to a major circulation American journal. We do have people who submit pieces to American journals.
And of course, then the CIA destroyed the rest of the files, which is what they do. George H.W. Bush came out and finally made the statement about Mockingbird. Well, we're going to officially stop the Mockingbird program. The CIA will no longer pay journalists to write stories. From now on, the program is voluntary, which means Mockingbird continues today. When's the last time you've seen a mainstream media outlet do a serious investigative report on the actions of the CIA? There's a reason for that.
This would mean that the CIA could manipulate the news in the United States by channeling it through some foreign country. And we're looking at that very carefully. You say that continues today?
Well, I would think probably for a reporter it would continue today, but because of all of the revelations of the period of the 1970s, it seems to me that a reporter's got to be much more circumspect in doing it now, or he runs the risk of at least being looked at with considerable disfavor by the public. I think you've got to be much more careful about it.
Platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 Really good one also, because if you really think that that stuff isn't going on now and in 100 different more ways to really get in your head, in front of you, no matter where you are, I mean, your phone's a really good example. You could say something and it'll pop up as an ad on your phone 5 minutes later. It's never stopped. It really just gets worse. As technology progresses, the way that they do it also progresses and actually gets better. Just like super controlled advertising, but with disinformation. So that's a really good one as well. That's why people like me, we make these videos and try to really hit it the other way. For people who are willing to listen, and people who aren't willing to listen, maybe we'll say something one day that will just catch their attention and they'll get locked in.
This is probably the most important video that I will ever make in my entire life, and I hope it reaches as many people as possible. I hope you watch throughout the entirety of this video and realize that the information within it is really important. And share the video, like, comment. I haven't slept probably full night's sleep in about 4 days. Just been researching, and I think I'm onto something here, and I have something to get across to you about these guys. You know, these guys that came here and did all the stuff to these guys that they did. Yeah, we're going to talk about these guys. It's important to know the history of the last picture that I showed and actually what went on in context to make sense of anything really that we're going to talk about here. It all needs to be in context, so it's going to require a lot of researching. So this was really only for the intellectuals, to be honest. The laymen will not be able to follow this. You remember these guys, right? If you know the true story behind these guys and who actually came to America to fight us and the financial history behind that, you'll also need to know that too. Too much for this video. Let's keep going with the Constitution. So the Constitution was written by the Founding Fathers. The Founding Fathers didn't like who? The British Empire or Britain. And they wanted to be segregated from them. They wanted to write a constitution of articles and amendments that would separate the powers to the people instead of the British Empire, right? This document was written in 1776. Follow me here. This is extremely important. Slow down the video, download it, slow it into a different speed if you need to. We need to keep moving. There's 3 different types of categories of the English language. To read that document, the Constitution of the United States, written in 1776, written in legal English, because it's a legal document, you need to know legal English, reference to that time. But let's keep going with the English thing. Then you have proper English. This is the type of English that you would write a book in, or poetry in, or you would address your mother in from across the country, okay? There's two of the three types of English. Keep following. Slang. This is for the people that are saying, no cap, sus, trip, lit,
This is what you talk to your coworkers in. This is what the common layman speaks to each other in. You have to know that there's 3 different distinct languages here. You cannot speak and read in slang and expect to understand the Constitution. Are you following? So I found this out about 4 days ago. I was like, okay, so legalese, English. Okay, this is really confusing. I'm going to have to do a lot of studying here. And I did all day, all night, calling people. Thankfully, I have a lot of friends doing this too, so I was able to get really far really quick. So when these guys met up and wrote that document, the Constitution of the United States, they basically wanted to protect themselves and give themselves the most power in this country. Under what? Common law, which comes from where? Britain. What is common law? It's the most powerful form of law. And it literally is backed. All law is backed by this law, but this is the highest form of law in America right now, and that's where I live. I don't know what yours is. I'll look into it. You want to call me or something? But when these guys were trying to get away from these guys, essentially they wrote that common law was the most powerful, and guess what? Common law is the idea. Just study common law. Too long for this video. Sorry, I can't do the whole thing. This is just to get people thinking, right? Let's go back to the books. Let's go back to the dictionary. Sorry, I'm skipping ahead here. I'd already thought that we talked about the book. Let's talk about the books. Let's talk about the dictionary. What is, if we have a dictionary for proper English, what is the dictionary for legal English? Huh? What's behind you, you ask? Oh, well, this is a dictionary of law. This must be the dictionary of English. Definitions of terms and phrases of American and English jurisprudence, ancient and modern. So I started thinking again. I said, well, if this is from 1891, if they were speaking in legal English, the guys that wrote the Constitution of the United States, right? If they were speaking in legal English, what English dictionary in the form of legal English were they referencing to write the document? Because that's how you write in what? I found out. You may ask me, well, what's the difference between legal English? We kind of went over the definition. I showed them on the page, but I want to make it clear. These forms of English use the same words. The only way to distinguish them from one another is the interpretation of the definition given by the dictionary. So we, the people, in normal English, formal English, cannot be read in that definition of formal English, of the normal dictionary, the Webster's dictionary, or whatever dictionary it was back then. Guess what? I know. I've already guess what? I already looked down all this rabbit hole. Why do you think I haven't slept? The New Law Dictionary, right here. This is by Giles Jacob, and it is before. It's the closest version of the law dictionary that would have been necessitated to have been used by the founding fathers that wrote the Constitution. What? Did you think we were done? No, I went further. I kept falling down the rabbit hole. I started critically thinking. And I said, well, to write in legalese, if you have to write in proper English and legalese at the same time, because not every word is a legalese word, then wouldn't I need the dictionary that was used at that time too, previous to the 1776 Constitution being established? Are you following me? 1755. I wonder if this is... No, just kidding. No need to wonder. It is. By this book. By the last book that I showed you in this video. Watch this video a couple times. Maybe follow me. Maybe share this, because I'm the only one realizing that this English language is a code, and the code is really structured because the law is really structured, and it leads all the way back to Rome. Just like all the roads do, so does the law. Let me know if you found this interesting. Share the video. If you want more, maybe I need to start streaming on Rumble, and we'll do a little bit of decoding. Have a good day.
Now, that one is a little bit of a longer one, but I feel like it's a very important one. If you want to get down to the bare minimum of what life you could live, I would suggest you learn legalese, learn common law language, just the different types of language. There's a reason you have to have an attorney or a lawyer in court, because you walk in there, you get spoken to in certain ways. Just by saying the words "I understand" puts you in a different category than if you said "I don't understand." Just those basic common terms like that changes the game and outcome of the entire courtroom process if you start learning the legalese. I haven't learned it. I try to read it, and it's halfway a nightmare. It's something you really got to sit down and study. But I feel like if people really came together, really figured that kind of stuff out, walked into a courtroom and just ripped them apart, that's just one step closer to us as a people, as a nation, as a planet, really getting our power back and becoming something other than what we are now, which is divided, war-torn planet that somehow can't seem to get our shit together. But I got faith we'll figure it out.
Why are people paying to see living babies as if they had never seen a living infant before? Did people of the time not have their own babies? And where are these infants' parents? How did they have the technology in the 19th century to keep premature babies alive in such a way? Or is something off, once again, with the official narrative? There were 80,000 premature babies who were treated in these amusement park incubators. 80,000. The hundreds of thousands of orphans in the 19th century are just barely believable. Were women really that carefree? Did America even have the population numbers to justify 80,000 premature babies? We are not talking orphans here, but infants born prematurely. The narrative is not convincing or realistically fathomable. Where did these babies come from?
I'm telling you guys right now, the baby incubator stuff, the seeing the living babies, the orphan trains, that stuff is creepy. It makes zero sense. It ties into nothing of what we're taught in history about early 1800s. It's all really creepy. So I had to throw that one in there because it ties into something I mentioned earlier in the video. But it's a rabbit hole. It's a deep one. It ties into mud flood, Tartaria, a bunch of other creepy stuff. So do your own research, like I said, but you got to check that stuff out.
Honey, I am so sorry. What happened? The bus passed by you?
Yeah, because I was trying to get out the way.
Yeah.
And I got stuck.
If I push your chair, you want to try to drive over to here?
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. All right, try and drive it. Keep going. Right about there. Stop, 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 stop.
Ow.
You good? You got it stopped? Okay.
Can you bring me up?
Do what, ma'am?
Can you bring me over?
Yep, yep. Is that okay?
Yeah, can you call ECAT?
You want me to call EMS or you want ECAT?
ECAT answer when they send me a wheelchair truck.
Okay, okay. Hang on just 1 minute, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
The reason that one's in there, it's not conspiracy related, but I want to make sure I end my videos with good content at the end, because we all need reminded that there's still good left in everybody, and there is people in this world that really do need help, and need help from good people, and we need to show that. And that's something that we can't forget, and we need to show other people that those people still exist, because they need us. So I hope you like the content. Make sure you like and subscribe. I'll be back in a couple days. I gotta make some more content, make some more footage, get this stuff gathered up. I do work a lot, but I'm gonna try to keep these coming. So hope you enjoyed. I'll see you later.